Hi, this is Sherry Veronica. When they are talking about disabilities in Barbados, they're not talking about a child that is born and it has a disability that would keep it completely away from school. It's hidden away in the house, can't run, can't walk, can't talk, things like they're not talking about that. They're talking about disabilities that happen to people who were bodied or able-bodied. Yeah, they're talking about disabilities that came about from, let's say, driving accident. You get into an accident and you break your back and you can't move the way you used to move, or a work accident, you fall off a ladder, or crime like she's talking about here. Bradshaw is talking about here, gun violence increasing the number of disabled. When you hear about the shootings and people surviving, sometimes you're not thinking, yeah, they survived, but are they able to work? Are they locomoting? Are they, what condition, under what condition has that person survived? Okay, a lot of people are disabled for whatever reason. So when it could be a sickness too. You could be sick with some sort of disease and it impacts you, but you can still work. You still have your brain, you still have your mind. You may still be able to move your hands to do like online work. You can work, you can type, do whatever. You can still do something. So when they're saying that it was staggering unemployment among the disabled, that's who they're talking about. That's who they're talking about. The ones who were okay at one point, mostly, but then something happened and it set them back. Now, listen now, to think that someone could fall off a ladder. Let's use this as an example, okay? You fall off a ladder and you hurt your back and you can't really let's say you were working at a supermarket and you had to stand and help people, or you had to, pack the shelves or whatever, and you were painting your house for Christmas. You fell off the ladder, you can't stand, you can't reach, and that kind of stuff. To think that your employer could have just discarded you like that. Now, that's what you needed to work on. That's what needs to be worked on in Barbados, because just as long as you can do something, even in your wheelchair, you could be you could be a cashier and sit in your wheelchair, and if you have to, not be there for a full 4 hours, you can rotate. You can just rotate, do whatever you need to do, whatever exercises, strengthening yourself and whatever, and then go back and do what you do. Maybe even keep weights at your area, and you can do it. You can do it, and it's up to legislation that should have been there and to force your employers not to just discard you because it looks a little different how you're operating within their facility. Now, if you're working as a construction worker and you need to be lifting things or whatever, yeah, you can have a problem. You may have to have a new way of supporting yourself. Yeah, you may have to find new employment, but it should still be open to you. Okay, employment should still be open to you, because you got into an accident, but you're still the same person. You're not someone who was born and kept away from society and didn't go to school, blah blah. It's not that. It's not that. It's something that happened to you while you were working, while you were doing what you were doing. Some things happen. Stuff happens, okay? So now you are doing this disabilities bill, and this joke. He's always a photo up with him, and Cynthia Bradshaw is speaking about it and talking about it, disabled due to violent crimes, that kind of stuff. If you have a brain, there should be opportunities. You can put on a set, and you can do, you know, when people are calling, you know, the calling programs or whatever, the calling centers or whatever, you can refer people to different areas. You can tell them, okay, pull out your computer and push it in. You can be trained to do something just using your brain and having a headset on, okay, if you cannot move any other part of your body. And that's not usually the case, but if you can move some part of your body and you are in a wheelchair, you could be in a wheelchair watching TV inside your house for the 8 hours or whatever. Go and work as a cashier. That should not be something that an employer should stop you from doing. You should be able to get work if you are not the same, but you're still okay. You're still okay. It only goes to show how many discriminatory practices Bajans have against each other. They almost have to see you as being not perfect, but in their minds perfect. They have to see you as being like, you know, able to do anything, and it shouldn't be. This disabilities bill should have always been there within the employment program. It should have always been there. You cannot discriminate against someone because of just a wheelchair, or because, you know, the hand may be, you know, not working, but they have another hand that can work. You'd be surprised how many people can work even though they may be differently abled. They can still work. They can still operate. They can still do things. Some people can some people can work in gardens, and they don't even have legs that work properly, and you can see them like using their hands to pull them and pull themselves, and they do things. You just need to include these people. There needs to be inclusivity. You have to let people know that there's a spot for them at someplace. You have to let people know that you can still support yourself. This has happened to you. Yes, it's a setback, but we still have someplace here in this organization where you can work in the office. You can work here. You can do online when when you have therapy. You can work online or whatever. You should always let people know that there's a place for them. You cannot just throw people away because something has happened. And you have that tendency. In Barbados, there's that tendency to throw people away when things are not, up to par, like 100%, copacetic. So yeah, it's good that the Disabilities Bill is coming, to fruition. It needs to go all the way through so that people who got shot and they may not be able to run, they may not be able to walk really fast, but there's still a mind there. People who may have had a sickness that put them down, there's still a mind there. People who, there's so many different illnesses that I can't even think about that can make you a little bit disabled or differently abled. But you're still John, you're still Henry, you're still Omar, you're still whoever, you are still there. You are still there as a person. There should be a place for you so you can support yourselves. Okay? You should be able to support yourself. It should not be, as he said here. Let me go back there where he said, this is Barbados Today. Staggering unemployment, staggering unemployment within that particular body of people. It should not be like that. It should never have been like that. Okay? Never have been like that. Okay? This is Sherry Veronica.
Help me spread the word about Naked Departure via social media. Subscribe and share to show support and love for our channels.